Bones are amazing things. They hold us up. They support us. They make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Hello, this is Jordan. Thank you so much for tuning into Bone Throwers Theater this time around. We are in a commentary episode for a very special one-shot that we've had for Microscope.
My name is Aaron, and this is Jeremy.
This is Johnny.
This is Ellie.
This is Jeff.
All right, so we have gone around the table a couple of times at this point, and everybody has had a chance to contribute. And I really think that this world is very rich.
Yes.
It has a lot of depth.
Yes.
It is, I think, probably one of the most varied groups that we have to choose from as player characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
everything is on the table at this point, except maybe the Atua themselves.
Yeah, we kind of said
They're a little god tier.
at one point.
Unless
Not
we
a
were
f-
all Atua, yeah.
Well, yeah, but not official. We
It would
can't.
be
This
weird
wasn't
if
in
you
our
like
no
playing
list.
the Internals,
Yeah.
which as characters was
Lackluster at best.
lackluster at best. I mean, the story was cool, but the character development just wasn't there because
There was a
they're
lot of-
immortal beings.
Right.
And also the third act got a little messy.
Yeah, but that's
That's a different discussion.
yeah.
But yeah, one thing that we had said, we did say that there was like immortal beings and demigods. I think that, yes, was more for Microscope than for playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
For building the world that our characters will reside in.
Yeah.
Yes, I was about to say it wasn't a hard and fast yes or no that we can't play that. It was just more of they're out there, but
Depending on what we play, we may encounter them very much so.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Or
they may
kill
be
them.
a major part of our game.
or kill them. Yes.
So, what would you guys like to name the next campaign?
Oh, you're asking us this now.
We have no idea.
We gotta choose an era.
we gotta
All right,
choose an
so
era
You want to
first.
choose an era first?
We have a list that we've created so far. I mean, honestly, there's one name that stands out to me, but the name that we end up going with might not even be on this list.
Sure.
We have Parallel Worlds, we have Sky Rings, Falling Rings, Rings of Power, and Age of Atua.
I like Age of Atua, but I think that we can shift that based on era.
Yes. Yeah.
Or it could be Age of Atua, comma, such
Colon.
and such.
Colon. Age of Atua.
Yeah, thanks.
Colon.
Do we have to have a set name? Can we break it up into sections? Like there's a set name, but then there's a sub.
Yeah, subtitle. So I'm thinking
Well, that's the
subtitle by
episode
season.
titles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
or a season, yeah.
So season 1, Age of Atua,
Colon.
and the Farmers.
Yeah.
Subtitles
Yeah.
being our seasons
Right.
based on what we're encountering. The problem is we don't always know what we're going to encounter at the beginning of the season
Right.
or at the end of the season.
Unless I do a lot more guidance than I normally do. Which I have been intending to do some more prep work in general. I've been very interested in the idea of using countdown clocks for major events. That's a big trend right now in RPGs. And
Yep.
I played a visual novel game that made heavy use of clocks and balancing different resources. Not that kind
Timing
of.
is everything.
So, what would you be interested in playing in this world?
You mean what character?
What type of campaign? Do you want an exploration game? Let's go ahead and take politics off the table because I think we've done a lot of political games.
I personally like the idea of an exploration game.
Yeah, I like almost episodic exploration, planet by
Star
planet.
Trek type.
Yeah.
Where each session is a different encounter.
With,
Yeah.
overarching things.
Yeah.
I think that overarching theme definitely is something that we should still have, even if we do more episodic stuff, because I think those overarching themes drive character
Oh,
development.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And that could be that subtitle. If Jordan has that plan, this season we're going to focus on the farmers, but we're going from planet to planet, encountering different farmers.
One thing that came up that we had not written down because it was between episode recordings and I don't think we had a chance to, was calling it Bonds of Atua.
Uh-huh.
And I almost like that a little bit better than Age of Atua. Because Age of Atua has a little bit more of a, this is the time period that we're playing in. And Bonds of Atua has a more relationship-driven theme to it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents. But, for example, we could do campaign name and then colon Shadow of the Pilikia. That could be a big theme for that season of the campaign.
Yeah.
Or name of the campaign Beyond the Parallels.
I like that a lot.
Name of the campaign Wayfinder's Regret.
Or Wayfinder's Charge.
Name of the campaign, The In-Betweens.
We just need a name of the campaign. We need
Yeah.
to choose which era we're going to be in, then narrow it down to.
So is that what we're
event
doing? Do we
wanna
want
start
to
with.
choose now, or we're gonna spend? I would say we spend some time.
Commenting.
Okay.
Well, one of my comments from today's sessions, we did a lot of focus on the collapsing of the portals today and the parallels, and we talked about the rebirth of Atua.
Yeah.
So linking those two together, I can't remember if we said it in the cards explicitly, but in my mind, I'm like, the two are disappearing, then the portals start collapsing, and stars start disappearing, and then the two are being reborn.
Yeah.
So they're automatically linked together. We know that a portal formed when X was killed,
Do they actually need the power of a star to be reborn?
but then at the same time, is the portal like basically their soul, waiting till they can get the energy to be reborn,
Which that soul is what carries the power to transport.
to transport between dimensions? Yes.
Yeah.
And so people get stuck inside the portals in between dimensions. Are they enveloped into a soul?
So that's kind of what I pictured happening further on down the line in the scene that we did.
Yeah,
Was each of
exactly.
our characters start to just disappear.
I was thinking
slowly
the exact same thing.
And are being absorbed into that Atua's being.
Yeah.
So when that Atua is reborn, they have new experiences and new memories that they incorporate into. That is how they grow and how they evolve, either purposely or accidentally absorbing other races and other people. They evolve. They have to change. That was kind of one of the ideas that I had that I thought would be really cool.
So how does that experience fundamentally change the Atua from what they were before?
It gives the godlike people a way to grow as a species.
Well, because think of immortality is immortal. It's eternal. You start to probably think of other beings as lesser, whereas if you absorb the experiences of another being that is below you, you start to realize they are not.
You can associate with them better.
Yeah.
You also become less static as an individual.
Yeah.
You would be able to hold on to your sanity longer because I would think that after a while, the world's become monotonous and you would end up turning evil just out of pure desire to want something to happen.
Yeah.
Or so distant that you just don't care. And
Which might be also some of the divide between the light Atua, the shunned Atua, and the dark Atua.
Yeah.
Either the peoples that they've been absorbing, or
time that they've gone without
Between their
absorbing
deaths.
people.
the light Atua are the ones that are eating the
Sounds-
most people.
Sounds icky. I don't like that.
I don't think it's that so much. I think, yes, the light are probably the ones who have eaten the most people, but not like they're going out dying just so they can absorb more people,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we said at the very beginning, the first portal opened by accident.
Right.
And then more portals started showing up as their war progressed.
I want to get back to that point. It was towards the end of the last session, we sort of hinted that the Atua are just dragging the other dimension into their civil war.
Yeah.
And then this session, we introduced the insect people, which is,
Like literally going across the divide to hunt.
the Atua. And how it was the shunned Atua that said that they were attacking the worlds. Made me think, after that came out about the insect people, is that the shunned Atua, in their civil war, struck a deal with the insect people, for the insect people to either not hunt them and only hunt the light Atua, or help them fight the light Atua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea about the treaty. the insects looking for more Atua to kill.
It's a nom.
This is my second time playing Microscope, and I really enjoy it. I love the collaborative world building and how we don't always know what's coming around the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know what somebody else is going to change
Yeah.
to what your plans are.
And so then you're adapting to the rest of the group, and I think that's lots of fun. I don't know, it's just a whole different type of role-playing and collaborative storytelling compared to, when we're doing a campaign. It's collaborative storytelling within the scene, but not so much within the world. And here, it's just a very different type of collaborative storytelling.
Well, I think we like it because we have already established that throughout the different points of each of our campaigns, we like to break from linear storytelling. And this definitely breaks from that.
Yeah, this is very non-linear.
Where you get to jump forward in time, you get to jump backwards in time. Oh, we already did this. Now I'm going to go back and put this in the middle of this that we've already established. Oh, that further explains what comes after it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's being able to explain and then
Re-explain.
re-explain and further define and
Change. I meant this as this, but oh my goodness, now it means this.
which in turn would explain something else that we didn't have an answer to.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of something we still don't have an answer to is the fissures that were mentioned twice. They're mentioned in one of the early time periods, and at the end about an invasion coming from somewhere. But throughout the rest of it, we don't have... There were references, the fish hooks in the scene.
In both scenes.
Yes, but we still don't know who they are.
I guess that's a great example of PAFO.
Play and find out?
Yep.
Well, we have a hint as to what they are.
Yes, a hint.
Because in that second scene with the 30 fish hooks, I believe it was, there was the sound of like crickets' legs, the insects, that I thought Jordan was hinting at the insects were coming.
Yes.
Or that Atua has absorbed the negative energy and has taken upon themselves that technique of hunting within their own soul.
That's an interesting thought.
Now, you said this was your second time doing this when you had been part of the Elements of War Microscope session. Ellie, this was your first time. I hope that, walking into this with already established partial timeline, I hope that wasn't overwhelming.
No, that kind of eased me a bit. Like I said earlier, guys, I get really nervous of the unknown.
Yeah.
I'm a very nervous person when it comes to possible judgment of my ideas and creations. Even if it's my own husband, I get nervous of opinions that would come my way. But knowing that I came into something that was already a little bit established, I feel better building off of those already created ideas more so. And then I become a little more explorative and creative as time goes by with creating my own ideas,
And you had some really great collaborative ideas, like the way that you ended it with the relationship as being the key to communication across the parallels.
Yeah, I really like that.
That's one of those moments that I said, oh, you dropped that right in the middle of something, and that really explained the scene that came right after that when we were still had so many questions.
Yeah.
Right.
That was great.
Thank you. And I love that because I didn't even think about your idea where you were like, that makes sense of who I saw, why I saw that person. Because it's not just the idea that you're communicating from within the portal to somebody outside, but the bonded person that's already been lost, that's who you see there. That was an excellent addition that we hopefully can build off of when we start actually playing. Or we could add that next time, I don't know. But I thought that was an excellent addition as well. It's not just one layered, it's multi-layered.
So our next step forward is actually to get together again and play a game of Fiasco based on this world.
Now, question is, the idea I thought was to do the game of Fiasco like we did for Angel's Guard, where that game of Fiasco sort of helps us build our characters that we're going to play in the campaign.
That's
Means
exactly
we have to
right.
identify characters and era.
And error.
Yeah, so that was one reason why I've been kind of trying to prompt this along, because
Okay.
that
I got
helps
you.
me write the playset.
I got you.
Uh-huh.
And In addition to that, writing the playset means that we will have something that we can release for people to play in this world. Also, when you create your character, you're going to be creating these bonds with other players at the table. I will just be playing NPCs. So, like, for example, Aaron would have a bond with Jeff's character and with Jeremy's character, if our seating arrangement was the same.
Bonds.
Yeah, and then,
But we're not a Tua, so we can't do bonds of a Tua.
It helps with inter-character growth.
yeah, it does.
Having an already established bond, relationship of some sort, like coworkers or
Gotcha.
previous friends or family.
It also helps because, like, in both Terra Proximus and Elements of War, we did a prologue episode that was before the kickoff. And so this Fiasco session is going to count as that prologue episode, and it will also develop our relationships. Once we have those character ideas from when Fiasco ends, then we can go grab our character sheets and write out our stats and, like our bios and everything like that. It should help overall with the character creation perspective from this point forward.
Which is interesting because I've already been brainstorming the type of character that I'm wanting to play. And so the question that I need to answer is, do I go ahead and scrap that, jump into Fiasco with a fresh face, play through Fiasco, and then build a character off of that? Or do I go into Fiasco with the character that I have in mind?
We'll almost have to go into with a combination of the two, because one of the things that we have to choose, I would assume we are choosing, is what species we are.
Right.
So that, I think, is going to play heavily into what goes on in that Fiasco. So we have to already come into with that idea.
Basic character in mind before we even started Fiasco will help Fiasco character creation go along a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So we've been coming up with this list of different races or planets or species as well that we'll have to pick from.
Yeah, which will be really cool because we can work together to develop different planets, different alien species, starting packages, so to speak. Because the way that the D6 system works is the aliens have like a list of attributes and skills that you can choose from as starting things, and then you can get like, oh, because you're extra large, you're extra strong, so get 2 extra dice in your strength, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's how it works in the Star Wars game, and it's a pretty good way to do things.
I'm extra large. Does that make me extra strong?
Me too.
I like extra large fries.
Not crinkly fries, though. We had that conversation.
Waffle
Those are the
fries.
worst. Waffle fries, curly fries, steak fries, skinny fries, sweet potato fries. Ew.
Shrimp gumbo. Shrimp.
So I think that the beginning of mentioning food is a good point to start discussing the snacks that went on at the table.
The snacksidents.
The snacksidents. They weren't snacksidents, they were snack purposes.
They were made with intent.
Snackceptional.
Yes.
So I brought a cheeseburger pie.
Very good.
It had pepper jack cheese in it and a lot of cheddar cheese and also some dehydrated garlic, like black garlic.
I brought a store-bought Boston cream pie because life is cray-cray.
And Boston cream pie.
Well, yeah.
None of us are complaining.
No, we're not complaining.
No. I brought some sweet Italian sausage with a homemade jalapeno habanero mango barbecue sauce.
Which was quite delightful.
Oh, yes. Let's see. I made a Reuben casserole and chili to go on chili dogs.
I also got mine at a store, and it was a salted caramel chocolate cream pie.
Which was also quite yummy.
Really good.
It was really yum. I brought a bunch of candy.
Always good.
Red, white, and blue Sour Patch Kids and Reese's Peanut Butter Cup eggs.
I gotta say, like, if we were giving out points today, I don't know what I would do. I'm hard pressed.
Yeah.
It's between the Reuben casserole and the sausages with the barbecue sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling somebody about our group and about the snacks that we bring, and I mentioned something that somebody had brought to one of the sessions, and they looked at me like, That's a snack for your role playing group. Like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. We-
Bust through the door, holding the snack. Oh yeah!
Telling them we've talked about doing a cookbook before, like a Bone Throwers cookbook to be released.
We could.
It would be
could.
awesome.
Like with your crescent roll cheesecake.
Crescent roll cheesecake, yes.
Johnny has made the beer cheese soup before. That was really good. That was like at one of our first sessions.
Yeah, that was during Terraproximus early on.
Yeah.
Ellie's famous chocolate
Chocolate.
cookies.
Chunky
Thing,
cookies.
your thing.
So good.
Uh-huh. And Aaron's leftovers from his fridge.
Whenever he finds it in the fridge, he's like, this will do. And that's
Enough
what
here,
That's
I
what
wanna-
wins.
Kimchi fried rice. What was the other one?
Throws it into one bowl. Ah,
Just
perfect.
mix it all together. And
Look what I created here.
Jeff has had some really good ones too.
yeah.
You've won a few times, I think.
Taki's one.
Yeah, Takis won once.
Yeah,
I was like,
that one in the cookbook.
I don't have anything. Takis.
Takis. Go to store and buy Takis.
I kind of like some of those entries. I think that, like, putting one every few pages. Win in a pinch.
When in a pinch, store-bought Takis, you just win the day.
We're plugging different, like, pie shops and everything. It's like, just go to any grocery store, buy some Takis.
Good times. But we don't normally do, like, this one would be hard to do, like,
Competition.
yeah, like, but I thought we had some really good moments of story development.
Oh, yeah.
That were on par with our role-playing moments in our...
And we did have one role playing section that
Yeah.
was.
It was very important.
It was fun.
Though. It was a
It
good
was.
one.
It
Yeah.
was. And what I like about that scene is actually not the scene, and we already just said it. It was what came after the scene, Ellie's storytelling, that defined that scene.
The consequences of
That
it.
really showed underneath what was going on in that scene.
Which made it extremely important for us to
Yes.
share, to
Yes.
even play
Which
out.
made that scene even better. It's,
Yeah.
it's like the original Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man, and then No Way Home comes.
And it makes
that
the
makes
other
those
ones
two
better.
Spider-Men better.
Yes,
Yeah.
it really did.
Yeah.
It was very much like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the role play and the story and the scenes that we do, I do think I would make one change to the Microscope playset. And I think that change would be that only the lens can do a dictated scene. My reasoning is because it becomes too easy to drive the storyline from each individual person. Whereas the collaborative storytelling in that scene, where we got stranded inside the portal, I think makes for some really interesting development.
Yeah.
Whereas when everyone can dictate scenes, it just becomes
It's a free for all storytelling.
yes, yeah. It gets a little less collaborative to where only giving the lens that capability, I think, could drive a little bit extra fun stuff regarding the focus.
Yeah, and I think with our group especially, we like details. We like the details.
A lot of details.
So actually, probably what we would call an event is probably a little bit more detailed than what the
game
creator
Yeah.
was
It's
thinking
intended
of
for you.
for events. So more of our events are almost like dictated scenes.
Yeah.
You know, because I wasn't here for the last Microscope session, I'm over here like, can I be detailed? Am I like...
Yeah.
And, and
We,
you guys
we
are like,
love
yes.
details. We
that's
love
who we are.
details.
Right.
And I think that, honestly, the one pushback I would give for what you're describing is that this game takes a lot of brain power.
Yeah.
And even with just going around the table once, it would took us a good 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So if we added in, every time that we did one of our written scenes, if we added in a lot of collaborative playtime, that would have stretched out that single lap around the table to maybe 2.5 hours.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
But
But
I do like that there's a different switch in your brain that you do for each of those. So for like the events, I thought, well, especially once we got going, the events were coming a little bit more easier to us.
Yeah.
The dictated scenes, we had to shift gears a little bit for a dictative scene if you were the one coming with a dictated scene. The played scenes, to me, one, I
Gives
was
the most details.
well, the most details, and it is a total shift in brain thinking,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
which is why I like to throw it in there as a different way to tell a story. But It's not just one person sitting there racking their brain.
Yeah,
about
it changes from
Personal.
you telling a story to us responding to each other's story.
right, exactly. That was
Yeah.
my point. Is you don't have to come up with everything. You can say a statement, and then somebody's going to take it somewhere, and you don't have to figure out where it's going to go. Ellie said, I'm just going to talk, and if I say something, I may need to rein it back and redo something because I have no idea where this is going.
Yeah.
But with a collaborative storytelling like a scene, you don't have to know where it's going.
Yeah.
You say something, somebody takes it somewhere, and then you just piggyback off that. Like the farmhouse where the ship landed. I said, you start to see humans and Noct come out, and Jeff was like, oh, it's people, they look like us. I was like,
So
or people we recognize. I piggybacked on that. And then
Yeah.
we-
Perfect. It was perfect. Because to be honest, the only thing, because everything else I was literally saying in the moment. Guys, I can speak for some of you as well. When you were like, "Oh, it's my turn." Yada yada yada. You know, like here's some stuff out of my mouth. But the only thing that I had entirely planned since the first or second thing I created was the bond. The final thing I said.
Nice.
Nice.
That's good.
The
Yeah.
one thing I would change about Microscope is that they're not called periods; they're called arrows.
Yeah, apparently that's what we really want to call it.
We were really want to call them eras, even though I think the book describes them as periods. We did that even in Terra Proximus. I believe
Yeah,
we
we
called
did
them
that.
eras.
Because it's more natural.
I don't know why. We just naturally did that.
One thing I will say, the collaborative nature means like anything can seem out of left field and then it comes together so well because your focus was
On the livestock.
yeah,
on
on
the
the livestock.
I was
I'm
like, what?
What in the world is this going to do? And then I actually was able to bring in the idea of the Star Naya, which
Yes.
was like
Yes, which was one of the things we said in the yes thing,
yeah,
which
but
we had not seen yet.
never
Yeah.
gotten to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So that made such a huge difference and brought back something from the very first palette.
With doing that, I wanted to broaden our scope of what we were looking at.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
that was good.
it forced me, because I already had an idea. I wanted to do something with the in-betweens. I wanted to do that the time before, but I decided to do something else. So it's like, next round, I'm definitely doing in-betweens. And Jeff's like, livestock. I'm like, Jeff, how am I going to do in-betweens with livestock? But what I like about it is it gave color and texture
Yeah.
to what is going on. It's not just people traveling in space just to travel in space. They had a job to transport from one system to another, and they got caught in this collapsing portal.
Yeah.
There was life going on, normal life, and then this collapsing portal disrupted it. And
Just like
the
any other
livestock
accident.
was just a detail of that normal life that really we didn't touch on anything about.
Trade or
And then I would like to tee off of you where you were like, gosh, livestock, but then you came up with the idea that the livestock like evolving.
Yeah,
Which
because
was
I
an
wanted to throw that back.
excellent
I was
idea.
like, oh, we haven't actually seen that happen. That was the idea. Is like, oh, it's in these in betweens where the divine beings, whoever, are actually doing the
forced evolution.
forced evolution.
Which that also goes along with the Atua evolving
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
I love this group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know how well this would work with another group. I have tried with other tables and it just
You have to have storytellers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have people who love developing
The
a story.
the details of it.
We
Great.
all love details, yeah.
Yes, this is a storytelling game, not a rule-heavy game.
There's one thing I get excited for whenever I do come to this table is the looks on all of your faces when you're like, did you see how that connected? Oh my god, you guys!
Yeah.
We get excited.
And especially when somebody's like not even finished with their thought and they're role playing, and I'll see like Jeremy or Aaron going,
Yes.
smiling,
I know where it's going.
grinning, and they're like shaking.
or they're like, I don't know where it's going.
No, to talk about a previous campaign, there was one moment that I will always remember. It was in the Black House of Elements of War.
Oh yeah.
When Jordan, you said something, we were running from the council members, and you said, "Oh, Chime, you're on that level, right?" And I was like, grab onto your seat, because here it comes. The helmet came off, and it was,
You recognize his voice.
it was
Yeah.
Chime. I was like, ah!
You were like that. How do you think I was?
Yeah, but I actually, as soon as Jordan asked that question, I
You
knew
made the
it was
connection.
coming.
So did
And
I.
I looked at Jeff, I was like, Jeff, hold on. Hold on. It's about to happen.
Poor Chime.
It's like when you're watching an awesome movie unfold in front of you, and you make this connection in your head that the writers made, and you're like, dude, that's so awesome. I can't wait to... It happened. It was amazing.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
But yeah, every single time that we do a session, there's always something where we all freak out about something.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. It's great.
One of my favorite cliffhangers that we ever had was in Angel's Guard at the underground thieves market.
No.
The clock broke.
Jeff.
I liked that moment.
Oh, there's a lot of great scenes in Angel Guard.
yeah.
Like when they set the city on fire with poop.
Yes.
Yep.
A lot of these seem to have a common theme.
Sewage.
Hey, look, we're in space.
Space sewage.
Sewage.
You're in space transporting animals. What do you think you have? All right, folks. I think that's pretty much a good spot to
You were wanting to
Oh, yeah,
actually
you wanted
to
to
pick
talk about...
Yeah.
We wanted to actually pick an era.
There are 7 different eras.
Yep.
I
I think if you're wanting to do episodic with themes like title of campaign, something else, honestly, it'd have to be later on.
Or Great Migration.
Which
Yeah.
is a title in and of itself.
Yeah, which there's certain aspects of what we have developed that we won't touch.
We wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
get
we
into
wouldn't
it all.
touch
We won't touch. Like, Great Migration is even before the Atua show up.
Yeah.
I am very interested in seeing what happens after Era 7. Cultures are united as familiar stars begin to disappear.
After. Oh.
Yeah.
We
Actually
play after everything. We have
So
never
we have this whole
done
history
Yeah,
setting
this
it
is
up.
our world history.
We have never done that. We've either picked up early on or right in the middle.
If we do that before we play, maybe a really quick session, I have another rule set that is you are exploring a space station that was abandoned in previous eons. So depending on how far out we want to play, you kind of go and you unveil more history that you aren't aware of. So specific tools, specific items that you kind of discover.
Sort of like an escape room of discovery.
Yeah. And again, more collaborative storytelling. Like, all right, as you guys delve deeper, you discover a room. What does it look like this room was used for?
I like that idea.
I do too.
Yeah. We would be
Sounds
archaeologists discovering some history.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
I'm for it.
All right, so that's if we're playing after.
If we're going to play
Yes.
after.
That's very interesting. I was going to say either Era 5 or 6, the Treaty of Parallels or the interdimensional portal start collapsing. Those two, I think, have the most meat on them as far as what we can do,
Yeah.
as far as different arcs.
Yeah.
I like those eras quite a bit, and they would be 2 of my top choices.
And that one really would be the Age of Atua.
yeah.
Yeah.
So something that would be cool if we're going to play after. So at the very end that we have is war. They're gearing up for war.
Yeah,
There's going to be
that's
this huge interdimensional, intergalactic battle. And to where now we are in recovery. We are
After the
finding
war,
which
yeah.
planets have survived. We are exploring
that.
and going and meeting back up with different cultures and different
Rediscovering the
people.
universe.
So it's like
rediscovery.
starting history over again.
Yes. So we still have some ideas. You know, the portals still function as they do. We would be discovering those portals.
Ooh. So we had Age of Atua as a possible title. What if the war, we only learn about Atua through history? So one of the things I looked up was the word for children, what the Atua called the normal people. So instead of the Age of Tua, the Age of Kama.
Oh. I like that.
So it's
The Atua.
after the Atua War, the Atua, for some reason, are not around anymore or cannot travel back to this dimension. And
KAMA.
K-A-M-A, the Age of Kama.
I like that.
A-OK.
So that way we get that space exploration, we get that discovery feel.
And
We get still all of the
so pull
elements
from
of...
all of this.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's kind of why I wanted to go at the end of that. I like the idea of this space station discovery, like exploration, being the Wayfinders trying to reestablish, like, maybe their old home base, and then going from there.
I actually like the idea of doing it after a huge war.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, us not exploring the war, we don't know how long that war lasted.
No, right.
It could have lasted 5 years. It could have lasted 100 years.
And that actually gives me a lot of opportunity to set up some interesting factions, like people who want to bring back the Age of Atua.
Especially if they know how to open portals.
So,
Art for,
are we
like,
saying we're going to be a group
each-
of archaeological explorers?
No, I think Jordan was talking about
I like
being the Wayfinders, so we are
Uh-huh.
a group of explorers. Yes, there would probably be some
There-
archaeological
That would be another
Yeah.
great name for the campaign, just Wayfinders.
Wayfinders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I'm drawn to Age of Kama right now.
So I do like Age of Kama. I do like Wayfinders of Kama, too.
I like Age of Kama. I just think Wayfinders is
little
really
long.
stronger, just as
word.
yeah,
Yeah, just Wayfinders.
Yeah.
It sounds like a book series.
it does.
Wayfinders, the Age of Kama.
Which would be the first one, season 1.
Right.
Wayfinders, the Age of Atua, season 2.
Yeah.
Or
And
Yeah,
season
or back-
3.
whatever.
The Age of Atua.
The space sequel.
Tua
the sequel.
Tua, too fast.
Dimensional drift.
Not you breaking into the Fast and Furious kind of vibes.
I like Wayfinders. Actually, that was one of the original things that I had thought as a title.
I'm torn between the two, Age of Kama and Wayfinders.
Well, we have time to
I feel like-
finalize that.
We're joking, but I feel like we can use what we were just discussing, where
This
we use
Wayfinders.
Wayfinders as the set in
Like,
stone.
that's our group.
And then we do use the Age of Kama, because I love that for the first season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially because, we're exploring that. We're exploring this new age, this new era, new period.
We are the Age of Kama, and we're exploring the past. Like you said, season 2, Return of the Tua, or
Yeah.
Whatever
Atua Strike
happens.
Back.
yeah.
Atua strip.
We could do some really solid 80s vibes going there.
Did you ever hear? Did you ever hear?
Atua Unleashed?
There's a
Atua Awakens.
science
Atua
fiction
Revenge.
writer. There's a science fiction writer named C.J. Cherry,
The Last Atua.
and she actually wrote a book called The Pride of Chainer. It was about a human who got adopted into a family of cat-like aliens. And the name of the villains in the series were the Kif. And she wrote up the sequel book to The Pride of Chainer. She sent it off, and they're like, well, you didn't send us a title. And she's like, oh, how about the Kif Strike Back? And she meant it as a joke, and they're like, perfect.
Awesome.
So
We
yes,
do a
they're...
comedy one shot. Better off Atua.
Just don't wear your socks in the shower. That drives me nuts.
Oh, I'll definitely wear my socks in the shower.
You would.
Campaign title, Wayfinder. Season 1 title, Age of Kama.
I like it.
The other cool thing that gives us is we can be from any of these races other than Atua without having to worry about the faction we belong to, because we don't
Yes.
know how these factions have landed after the war.
All right, so the era we're starting in after period 7, this is uncharted territory.
So as much as I like Wayfinder's Age of Kama, I kind of like Wayfinder's Uncharted Territory.
Ooh.
Yeah, I do too.
Just gonna say, and then maybe we could get into Age of Kama.
You're
and-
forgetting that we will still have episode titles.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Episode
Uncharted
1,
one.
Uncharted Territory.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. We already have
Episode one title.
Wow.
Possibly. We'll see
Yeah.
where episode 1 goes.
yeah.
Hey guys, we've been here before.
So I like the idea.
Episode 1, Recharted.
Actually, that's a pretty good one.
Never go full recharge.
We were returned before.
Recharged.
Get recharted.
I will say, just from an administrative perspective, I like the idea of the archaeological one-shot and then fiasco.
Cool.
Because I think that helps us develop some more, like, what was the war like vibes.
Okay.
This is the craziest world build we've ever done.
Yeah, it is.
We're playing 3 separate games just to build our characters.
Yep.
You have a problem with that?
Nope.
I didn't think so. All right, folks. Stay tuned. There's a lot more coming in Wayfinders. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you all have a good one.
Me too.
Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Ellie, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is bonethrowerstheater. You can also look us up on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.